Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for everybody's favorite segment slash podcast, and it is called Dave Meltzer's Dumb Moment of the Week. And we're going to bake them today. We got quite a bit to get to, so we're going to get right into things. I can't wait for it. Who's ready? Flutes in the chat. Here's Dave talking some about WWE, and then we'll get into his AEW glazing. So here is a Dave actually putting over this spot with Cena and Dom. Now, obviously, they did not mean to. Nobody means to land on their neck this way, but they did obviously plan to do some sort of like injury spot. Now, are they just so good that Dom really did mean to take this bump this way? Maybe it's real dangerous, but he actually puts it over here. And I'm actually proud of Dave on
Dom
this. We'll give Dave a bass flute during this one, I think.
Goes for a diving hurricane run off the barricade. It was exactly like Penta, except the difference was Penta actually hit the move and hurt himself. In this one, Dom went for the diving hurricane rana, but Cena didn't take the bump and kind of half power bombed him on his shoulder. And it looked like they botched the spot.
Yeah, I don't think they meant, I think they half botched it, but it worked because no one's hurt and they planned to do like he's going to fake an injury. But I don't know if anybody means to drop someone on their neck like that, or even Dom, like to drop himself on his own. Maybe, but that's some like All Japan right there, dude. That's some ECW tag right there.
They did a tremendous job.
It was tremendous. Yeah.
I was convinced this guy was hurt.
Oh, they're base.
I wasn't
base Meltzer.
When they kept the camera on him, it was like, wait a minute. I know WWE. If a guy's really hurting there, and it's an accident, they take the camera off him right away. So
yeah, Dave listening to PWT, studying and learning.
But I thought it was brilliant
from the best
because they basically, they did the Penta spot. I mean, it was just like everyone saw that spot, or most of the fans did that watched Raw anyway. And it's like, so in their minds, it's like, oh my God, Penta legitimately got hurt. Everyone knows Penta got hurt. Let's copy that spot. And Dominic sold it so great. I mean, just like,
was that let's copy this spot? Maybe
he was hurt, and the way Cena dropped him, it was just like, it looked like the botch of all botches, and it was actually what was
the botch of all botches
planned. It was really tremendous.
And so suddenly they hit Liv Morgan's.
Yeah, it really was good, and I think it was like half botched, and that's why it came across so good, because it's kind of a shoot. It kind of shoot was up, but at the same time, it worked. So
music, crowd goes wild for her return. She runs down to the ring. Dom wants a hug. They have a stare down for a long time. And then she slaps him.
Yeah, I mean, they just go over the...
On Cena's arms, gives him a big camera with the same look, turned heel. Mm-hmm. Thank God. I thought because this was the way they should have done it.
Yeah, well, the other thing, too, is now, I think John has to beat Gunther.
Yes. It's exactly how it should have been the entire time. Because, he needs to win his last match.
Because he should not go out losing 2 in a row.
Why? Why should he not go out losing 2 in a row? It just hurts him. It hurts his role in Peace. It hurts his role in Superman, Man of Tomorrow. Buddy, like, what are you talking about, Dave? He can't lose 2 in a row. Why? He's never wrestling again. It's not like he's ever going to wrestle again. Why the would he win? Like, and I'm okay if Cena wins or lose. I don't care. I've told you guys with this Cena retirement, I refuse to be a whiny bitch like everyone's being. I'm just enjoying it, man. You don't get Cena anymore after 9 days from now, okay? What day is that? On the 15th, the 13th? I can't remember. I don't know. No more Cena. He reiterated it on like Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon or something the other night too. He's like, I will not wrestle past, or one of the medias he's done recently. He's like, I will not wrestle again. I believe we'll see Cena as like a general manager, maybe not GM, but like Cena will be an on-screen character in WWE in some capacity in the future, whether it's in 5 years, 10 years, 3 years. He'll come out at a Mania. He won't wrestle. He won't even maybe hit a move. Maybe he'll just give someone the rub, or so. Like he'll announce the attendance like the way Stone Cold does. Hopefully not crash an ATV in anybody. He'll have a part in. One day I could see like heel Cena in a suit with gray hair, like I'm running things here, like a Vince McMahon character, or even maybe he's like the good guy, beloved guy in the set. Whatever. I just see Cena being a part of wrestling way in the future, but not wrestling anymore. He's saying he ain't doing it. I believe it. You see how he comes out, dude. He's like hunched over almost. Like you can tell he's just working to keep his back up and he's crushing it every match. And them saying Cena can't lose 2 in a row. Why? It doesn't hurt his stock. Oh, it hurts his stock. In what? Like, this isn't 1984 and like he's done. It's not like he's going to show up in AEW or something. He's got to pass the torch to the future. Cena's been adamant, like, I'm laying down on my back and I'm going out on my back. Like, he's pretty much made that clear that that's what he's going to fucking do. I don't care if he wins or loses. But Gunther should take the win, and he shouldn't lose 2 in a row. That's like some 70s shit, Dave. What are you saying, bro? Like, no, he fucking should, because he's never gonna wrestle again. So he just needs to pay it forward. There's no like, oh, he's got his return match, it just hurts him in the future. No, he's a beloved actor, and he's like way up there now where he's getting these fucking huge roles, and he's in the DCU. He's like a focal point of that. I would just, he hosts that Wipeout show as well that comes on after AEW and shit. He's doing so much. He's the voice of like those like Nissan car, or maybe it's not Nissan, it's like Toyota or whatever. It's John Cena's voice. You guys know that? He's getting the Morgan Freeman gigs and shit. Like he's A+++ list. No one cares if he loses. It's not going to hurt his role in Jumanji 3 or whatever the fuck they're making. I know The Rock's in Jumanji, but like, how long until Cena fucking shows up in one of those, or like one of these movies, he's Superman or whatever the fuck. I just think that's such like an old, dated fucking take to have. Hey, you can't lose 2 in a row. Why? Well, the crowd will be upset. Will they? It's almost like that's part of wrestling. You got to make them cheer for shit, and you got to upset them with some shit. And they will still pop and go crazy if Gunther and Cena shake hands at the end. But speaking of his mind, Dave Meltzer says Austin Theory was originally supposed to be in the War Games match, but Jacob Fatu's injury made WWE move the Rhodes versus McIntyre feud up a month. Okay. Oh my God. Dave has no. Remember when he just said that Drew was going away? Drew's filming a movie. That's why he's suspended. And then he's there. And it's because that movie he's fucking filming got pushed back a year until they start production. I think started the new year here. If I had to guess, I don't know. I'm just saying, if I had to guess, I would assume January, February, maybe. But I mean, Rhodes and Drew, like I told you guys, just expect them to work together a bunch and for a long program. And Dave's over here now. Oh, they had to bump it up because this and that and this and that. It's like, I don't know, man. Maybe Dave's right. Whatever. I'm fucking. But that freed both Rhodes and Drew up for war. And this could be true too. I mean, whatever. It doesn't. But they had how many matches already? It just seems like they wanted a star-studded affair. We're going out in a family affair. Ooh. I think they just kind of wanted like a star-studded affair, but maybe Dave's right. Maybe they were supposed to work another singles. Drew fit better in the match than Theory. A lot of people have been speculating that Theory's going to come back. Whatever, that's just Dave's reporting. I'm not going to roast it. Maybe that's what he heard, right? So Dave had this to say as well about the impression he was given on Saturday by what? I don't know.
All right, what is the WrestleMania main event?
I mean,
well, he talks about WrestleMania main events, and again, this is just. I mean, it's gonna be Roman Reigns. I think he's gonna be completely wrong about this. I think he is completely wrong when he's like, it was gonna be Roman and Seth. Let's just listen.
All right, what is the WrestleMania?
Husey came on this show and said a bunch of different shit. And shout out K100. They were talking about PWT. Shout out whoever wrote into K100 and then was like, hey, I was watching Husey on PWT. Shout you out, man. But you called me Pro Wrestling Times. It's Pro Wrestle Times. A lot of people fuck
main event.
I mean, it was going to be Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, but and Seth Rollins did say that he's hoping to get back for WrestleMania. I was given.
And then he just confidently says Seth and Roman, which, like, okay,
the impression that the WrestleMania main event that there will be on Saturday. There will be teases. That will.
I was given the impression. No, it's just the easiest thing to say. It's just the easiest thing to go. I bet in War Games they tease what's coming at Mania. Like, it's officially Mania season. We were talking about it on the show right after Survivor Series, dog. It is Mania season. The road to the Rumble's just as important as the road to fucking WrestleMania, which I know they say starts after the Rumble, but nah, that shit starts after Survivor Series, and especially with the War Games is where it's the big blow off, or you have the elimination match. You just kind of throw everyone together, and then you really start driving home like, this guy's going to be in the Rumble. This guy's going to be in the Rumble. Our plan for Mania is this. Da-da-da-da-da. So it's just like the easy thing to say that, Dave. I don't think anyone tipped you off to shit, and especially not that hat.
Help you figure out who the WrestleMania main event will be. Certainly on Monday, the tease on Monday. The tease on Monday was absolutely a tease for the main event, which would lead you to believe it's Roman Reigns challenging either Cody Rhodes or Punk. In which case, because Cody Rhodes has been done twice before, I would favor them going with Punk. But I think that on Saturday we will probably have a better idea. Although I'm going to guess that they'll shoot a tease with both of them just to keep that question going. But you know, that is, you know, there are going to be teases of something on the show Saturday.
They're going to tease. So I actually don't really know. You know, they could just tease anything. Oh my God, bro. They'll tease something. Did we get a tease of what's to come? It looks like Punk and the Zebra, and, you know, him and Roman, they're the Zebros. They're kind of tight. So I don't know, man. Who knows? But Dave Meltzer goes on to predict WrestleMania matches. So he said that CM Punk versus Braun Breaker for Mania. WWE announced CM Punk versus Braun Breaker for WWE Raw in January. Dave also took a shot and said that they're going to do, they'll tease like Reigns Rhodes there. Like he kind of alluded to that. Speaking of teases, like Dave was teasing shit. Let's hear his criticism of like, why do Rhodes versus Roman? Here's the thing, man. For longer than this, they've been teasing Orton versus Cena. They've been teasing that forever now. And that, I mean, allegedly, okay? I don't fucking know.
Allegedly.
But I heard from a lucky Irishman here on PWT, I think once before, that he heard from somewhere, you know, that it's, I mean, Orton, if you watch the fucking show, it's Orton and Rhodes has been teased, and you don't see Orton a lot. Why? His back's fucked. He's done in the next like 2 years, guys, like 1 year, 2 years. Okay. And so he's going to get this match off with Rhodes. I think we see, and I made this prediction, I think we see heel Rhodes versus babyface Orton. Now, I don't know if they pulled that off by this Mania, but I think that would be a way cooler dynamic. And then Rhodes could like even retire, be the one to retire Orton. That'd be pretty crazy. But I'm not saying Orton's going to retire at this Mania. It's not like he's washed. Again, man, these guys are getting older. They're banged up. Remember, Orton is coming off that injury, and we haven't seen him around a lot. Why? Because he gets banged up pretty easy, and it's not even a knock on him, man. But he came back from that injury where he didn't even think he was going to be able to wrestle again. So I don't know. Dave's critical of this. His predictions seem a little off, though. I just think that he's trying to piece this together, but he's not thinking about like, well, Orton's there. Roman versus Brock, maybe. You guys think they go back to that? A Drew versus Brock could be in the works as well. A rematch in front of people at Mania. Things of this nature.
Punk getting pinned. I mean, that finish was there.
Maybe they main event with Rhodes Punk as like a AEW shot, or at least that's how people will interpret it.
Not that be a great finish for this match. It was there to tell the story. And the story is, you know, like I said the other day, it's like this whole thing, when we come out of this match, the idea was we're supposed to know WrestleMania, which is Cody and Roman and Punk and Braun Breaker. Championship matches.
What? Punk and Breaker. See, Dave is now just inserting like, well, we were supposed to know. No, we're not, bro. He's just like applying the shit he made up. This expectation he made up that isn't there.
The other day, it's like this whole thing, when we come out of this match, the idea was we're supposed to know.
No, how is that the idea, bro? It's not even the Rumble yet. Chamber. We still have the Rumble and Chamber. What do you mean? The idea was we're supposed to, who told you this fake news? Like Dave makes shit up about WWE, or whoever tells him shit, their job is to purposefully tell him fake shit.
WrestleMania, which is Cody and Roman and Punk.
And everyone gossips about Triple H. So you can't, it's just like, whatever, people hate on fucking Triple H, but they work for him. So who gives a fuck?
And Braun Breaker are the championship matches. So that's what it was there for. It was to tell you.
Cody and Roman for the third time in 4 years.
That's the plan as of today. Yeah.
That's the plan as of today, which I just made up. And that could be not the plan. And it could be, dude, like, here's the thing. Roman beat him twice. What's the scorecard on that? Roman beat him twice. Rhodes beat him once. Okay, so Rhodes beats him again, and then we get the fifth and final match before they both hang it up eventually. Here's the thing. And I'm just saying, even if that was the case, right? I'm just like, okay, let's say Dave's right. Well, I'm not even against that. That shit drew. Like, that was big money for WWE. And people are interested in the Rhodes. It's one of the great rivalries of our time, Brian. But I think all of everything is pointing to we're getting a heel Rhodes. It's not like Roman's going to go full blast heel on Rhodes again. Like, the roles will be switched. And I think we're getting full blast fucking heel Rhodes taken on, like, Jacob Fatu, who's really over. Gunther, who's becoming a babyface. Punk, who's a babyface. Roman, who's like a tweener but a babyface. But the reason I call him a tweener is because, like, again, it's not like he's kissing babies and shit. He didn't change anything about his character. He just makes saves now, but that's still, like, you could chalk it up to his own personal beefs and shit. And he's just a babyface because the people want him to be. Rhodes versus Orton, who's a babyface, who we don't want to see. Like, we don't want to see Orton, like, maliciously punt kicking women and children and people when they're down, and men when they're down, like, go out that way to end his career. It's the same thing with Cena. Like, we wanted the heel run for a little bit, but we didn't want to see him go out that way. With Orton, it's the same thing. No one's going to want to see him go out that way. He doesn't have a lot of time left. So heel Rhodes versus heel Orton and shit. I see that looming.
Why?
Why? Because they're they're incompetent. It won't be what I just broke down. Well, because, like, Rhodes might flip heel and fucking shit's gonna go crazy. He's gonna dye his hair black and everyone's gonna go fucking nuts. They, like, nothing. No thought of anything like that. Well, because there's all these baby faces that are clearly being set up. And so one of these guys got to switch hard. Someone's got to do a hard switch, because even LA Knight kind of did some tweener shit where it's like, are we going to switch him hard, or is he just BFT and Punk and then kind of doing babyface shit again, cutting babyface promos? Someone's got to do a hard switch. I think it's Rhodes.
I feel like we've been there, done that.
It's a rubber match. I don't know.
So this would be their third match, right? Okay.
The deal was so the deal is like,
oh yeah, because they lost what I'm thinking of is the match with, like, The Rock in it and shit on night one or whatever. That's why
that's he pinned CM Punk, the world champion, so he deserves a championship match. It's just basic old school booking. That's what it was there for. And Cody and Roman went. Did you see Cody and Roman at the end? I mean, it was very clear.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's actually the fourth time, because we had a Rock.
But it's very clear for what they could fight at the Chamber. They could team up. They could fucking fight at Rumble for the title, and then everyone else is in the Rumble match. Roman's not in the Rumble this year. That's how they keep him out of the Rumble this year, and so that he can have a little bit of time off before WrestleMania, like the month out when he's got to make a big return, pop a rating, and get everyone hyped for his match. You know what I mean? Like, so they do Rhodes and Roman at the fucking Rumble, and then a bunch of shenanigans happens in that where Roman's got to face Seth at Mania or whatever the fuck. Like, you're just skipping Chamber and Rumble, which are two, like, of the biggest events. Like, Chamber's up there now as they're taking it to Australia and doing fucking gangbusters with it. So it's becoming this huge event. Like, the Rumble's a marquee. It's not like there hasn't been title matches at the Rumble to keep people out of the Rumble. And then you get a new champion at the Rumble, or the champion defends, and then someone wins the Rumble. And then at Chamber, even we've seen title switches there. Like, You're just like skipping over. I mean, it's WrestleMania tomorrow, Brian, this weekend. Like, what the fuck?
Roman, Cody,
I'm
and Seth.
traveling, Dave.
Actually, this is the 4th WrestleMania main event in 3 years with Roman and Cody. I thought it'd be Roman and Punk. That's at least a new match.
So did I. So did I. I did until tonight. I was surprised. And I thought that it would probably be Cody and Braun Breaker. But, I mean, this was it. I mean,
just they're scrambled. They're not even watching these shows. I'm convinced they're literally not even watching because none of what they're even saying makes fucking sense. And speaking of not making sense here, Dave Meltzer buries War Games, and he's like, War Games just lost its aura and shit. It's nothing. And I just don't know if I agree. I think this year solidified that they're going to make Survivor Series 2 nights next year. And I do agree with having 2 War Games in one night is just not the way to go. You got to just have one, make it 2 nights, have the girls on one night, the guys, if you're going to do a guys and a girls, they should just put a traditional Survivor Series match on there and then 1 War Games match if you're going to keep it one night. Has it lost its aura? I don't know. I think people get hyped for the War Games. I think that the attendance and shit proves that, but it's just a matter of seeing 2 of them on one night. But at the same time, is he going to say Blood and Guts is superior?
I think that they're just...
I think he is. I think we have a clip of that.
Losing the essence of War Games completely, even with Blood and Guts. I think that...
Oh, there you go. He criticizes Blood and Guts a little bit. Let's go, Dave. Base Meltzer.
Which I thought was those 2 Blood and Guts matches were tremendous, but...
Of course. So those 2 Blood and Guts were tremendous. But, in WWE, those War Games, man, those really sucked. They didn't fucking have women bleeding and not going through tables and shit.
It's just that the whole aura of it is just not there. It was no different than anything else. It didn't feel special at all. I mean, like I said, the men's match was pretty good, but it just didn't have that. It didn't have that blow away feel or anything like that. Aside from 2 or 3 spots.
If they're not going to take it 2 nights, I'll say this. I think War Games should maybe just happen. I mean, it fits well with the Survivor Series. Like, can you survive the War Games? But it could be on Bad Blood as well. Bad Blood, War Games. Like, you just add it to where whatever calls for a War Games whenever you need one. It doesn't even have to be once a year. But I don't think they're going to do that because I think this whole Survivor Series War Games, I think it's just marketed well. And it's worked for them, so I just don't think I think they'll just switch it to 2 nights, and then you have the girls on one night, the men's on the other night. Then you can have more matches as well, and then people will, night 1 was better than night 2 and shit, and then you escape all of this criticism.
It felt like less than a TV show. I mean, I get more out of most of the TV shows than I got out of the show tonight. And you get better interviews, obviously, because we didn't have any interviews. It was just like the matches. It was just. It almost felt like they have determined that you can just kind of go out there and it doesn't really matter as long as you do the 2 or 3 things, in each match. And the rest is just kind of just go through and whatever.
So is he talking about Blood and Guts? Because that's what that felt like.
But
too.
I don't know. I know the reaction that I've gotten has been pretty negative on the show. And...
The reaction you got from reading Cage Match, you're a fucking sicko. The reaction you got from a bunch of sickos. Bro, so the current reported plans for Rhodes to defend the Undisputed Championship against Roman Reigns at Mania 42. He's just running with this. And even if it is that, here's the thing. I'm just anti-Dave. I don't give a fuck. So even if it is that, word, I'll put it over. Because I'm actually not... Man, you guys got to understand something. I was saying let Roman hold the title until Mania 45. Have him beat all the records. Obviously, he's not going to touch Bruno's, but I was ready for Cody Crybabies every year. Just have Roman beat I don't give a fuck. Keep him going. And he's still going strong. He's in the best shape of his life, too. He's getting bodied up. He's on those Hollywood fucking diet regiments and shit and workout regiments and shit. Roman's looking great. And he's obviously, they're giving him the time off that he needs to do what he needs to do to also in Hollywood and shit and with his family and all so that he can appear and be healthy and fresh for WWE, and it's paying off for them. And if Roman was champ to this day, I wouldn't even be mad at it. I'm all about the tribal chief. So at the end of the day, man, I don't think it matters as long as they tell a good story. You guys are just discounting, like you're just pretending WrestleMania's this weekend. Like, no, they have tons of time to tell a story between now and then. But speaking of telling stories, man, Dave Meltzer, he's flip-flopping and flying like old Dusty Rhodes there on his story with Shinsuke and Tanahashi. So we've been chronicling this. This is like the Andrade shit. It's like I'm kind of getting tired of talking about this, but we have to because it's the update on the show here. And Dave, man, he's talking about Tanahashi and Shinsuke. Like at first, he claimed Shinsuke and Tanahashi both want to do it, but WWE's like, they can't do it. And then he's like, well, it would be a slap in the face to CMLL, like trying to take the heat off AEW. Well, Nuge is actually partnered with CMLL, and it'd be a big slap in the face to them, Brian. Not even AEW, really. AEW too, but right? And so he goes, the feeling is WWE wanted Nakamura to do Tanahashi's last match with the idea that it would screw with AEW. So originally it's Tanahashi's idea. Tanahashi and Shinsuke Nakamura both want to do this thing. They're both in. Dave sounding like he's fucking calling them on the phone, like Tony Khan making a fucking house call, right? Like he's making it appear as though he knows this to be true and for a fact that Tanahashi and Shinsuke both want to do this match. And then it's like AEW, it should be Okada, whatever, it gets announced it's Okada. Then Dave just starts theorizing and making shit up. Oh, well, it's because their partnership with AEW. Oh, it's because it'll hurt their deal with CMLL. Oh, it's because it'll fucking, and then now it's WWE wanted to fuck with AEW. It's always bullshit.
Tanahashi did want to face Nakamura. I guess the idea from the story is that Nakamura had been told, because he wanted this match himself, that he wanted to be a free agent, that he wanted to give notice. And so
oh my God. So now he's just saying that Shinsuke wanted to be a free agent?
There'd be no politics involved. If he was a free agent, it could be Tanahashi Nakamura. And
make me a free agent, and then I'll go to Japan. Like, man, whoa, hold on a second. What is Dave doing? He's just lying about a bunch of shit here. Hold on, dude. Whoa.
Tanahashi did want to face Nakamura.
He did want to face Nakamura.
I guess the idea from the
so that for sure, because Tanahashi-san told Tony Khan-san this, and then Tony Khan-san called you, and then this. So I'll give Dave that. Okay, Tanahashi wanted it. I believe this is Dave, again, just sweeping for tone. He's just making up a bunch of reasons why it wasn't AEW being like, no, please, it's got to be Okada. Please, our wrestlers are on there. But Takeshita's your champion.
Story is that Nakamura had been told, because he wanted this match himself, that he wanted to be a free agent, that he wanted to give notice.
So he was told that he wanted to be a free agent. Dave, are you retarded?
And so there'd be no politics involved. If he was a free agent, it could be Tanahashi Nakamura. And
so if he was a free agent, then it could be. It sounds like to me, Dave, like Tony Khan is the one who said, if he's a free agent, he can't be signed to WWE. If Shinsuke's a free agent and not repping WWE, I'll let you do that. But instead, you're partnered with us, so it's got to be Okada. It sounds like you're just like inventing and adding shit to take heat off of Tony Khan. This doesn't even make sense.
As the story says, and I don't know if this is accurate or not, this one I have not been able to confirm, essentially the WWE would not release Nakamura, but they wanted Nakamura. The feeling is WWE wanted Nakamura to do the show with the idea that it would.
The feeling is with the idea that it would
just
be.
In, we have confirmed that
What?
Dave Meltzer fears PWT and flutes.
It's always the idea is what the feeling was, Brian.
Screw with AEW.
Yeah, let's screw with AEW. So Dave is making the claim. So before this, he claimed that it would hurt the relationship with CMLL. Dave, it just sounds like you're fucking coping. So first it's well, obviously Okada's the match to make, obviously. And then it's fucking, oh, well, it would hurt their relationship with CMLL. It'd be like a slap in the face was his actual quote to CMLL. And then now it's, well, Nakamura said he wanted to do it and asked to be a free agent. But WWE was like, nah, let's do this and fuck with AEW. Bro, you're coping, and it sounds like a bunch of bullshit, and you're just covering up for the best guy.
You are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping and seething. The truth it is scalding, and now you are molding and coping so hard. Coping and seething.
But, you know, New Japan at that point went with Okada because they didn't want to. It's a double thing, you know. It's number one, not wanting to screw with AEW, but more working with WWE would be considered bad for New Japan because of both of their longtime partners. You know, AEW is actually a short-time partner, but their longest
Shut the fuck up. Oh, it's actually a short-time partner
is CMLL. And CMLL is now in a war with WWE.
They're in a war with WWE
and AAA in Mexico.
I mean, podcast grifters would make you believe that it's stuff. They're in a war. Holy
Mexico with WWE owning AAA. So it's kind of like,
you see how he galvanizes. He's the one who perpetrates this bullshit.
WWE to put.
He's the one who perpetrates this bullshit, man. It's crazy.
Guy in the main event of their biggest.
And then he gets triggered when people go, "Well, AAA smoking CMLL. It's a war." Oh, it's hardly a comparison. You just said that they're going to war, asshole.
Show of the year. That it's kind of like a slap in the face of both AEW and CMLL. And that's not something that they were willing to do.
There are people who believe that the reason that they didn't do the Nakamura match is because Tony said ain't happening. And there's another side that says, no, that actually, he never said that can't happen. That's not why.
You're a liar.
But there are two stories here, and only one can be true. Did Tony put his foot down on it, or did he not? So it'll be interesting to see.
Dave can't ever say, "Oh, Tone put his foot down," because he's scared that it'll make him look like the bad guy. When realistically, it's like, no, we give you props, bro.
Well, I mean,
what each side says about this.
It's just Dave fucking making shit up to protect Tone, man. Someone sent me an email. Okay, someone sent me an email like dispelling Dave's stuff here. So Fat Factor, okay? You guys know Fat Factor. He wrote me like a fucking essay. Not an essay, but it's like, let's skim through this. Fat Factor Creation. Shout him out. Longtime listener of the show. He goes, "Hi, Phil. Thought I'd email to debunk some of the complete nonsense from this Chris Griffin sound-alike mouth regarding Tanahashi's last match because it's way too long for super chats. Also, maybe double check this through your own searches to be sure. There might be some translation wreckage in some of my searches." So he says, Dave fundamentally doesn't know what the hell he's talking about when it comes to Nuge in regards to the much larger Japanese audience, how they perceive it. He recently said that Okada was Tanahashi's greatest opponent and that it was not even debatable, then completely dismissed Naito and Shinsuke Nakamura because, as per usual, Dave loves to distort the reality of Japanese wrestling and has been able to get away with doing so for 20 plus years. It's true. He controls the narrative of it in the West. He has for a long time. This is the same Dave Meltzer who tries to make out that DDT, Choco Pro, and Ice Ribbon are filling stadiums while Noah is in empty buildings, when Noah's arguably in a stronger place than Nuge, purely by not being poisoned. Sorry, there is some translation stuff here, guys, so I'm trying to purely by note, but you mean purely by not being poisoned by Dave's narratives. Yes, allegedly being in the Booker's ear and Tony Khan's pillaging. So the next point, Tetsuya Naito has been, and thank you for the headers and all this shit rules. Tetsuya Naito has been New Japan's top merch seller since 2016. Himself and Takahashi have been consistently outselling Tanahashi, who sits third, while Okada has never been in the top 5 during that period. At some points, he was even outsold by stablemates Toru Yano and Hiroki Goto. Dave dismisses this because he's convinced himself that Nuge's merch sales inside Japan are non-existent and that sales in the USA account for all of Nuge's merch sales. He also is salty about Naito being outspoken against AEW and WWE's detrimental effect on Nuge and refusing to join AEW. As a result, he's been burying him ever since, and this before Naito started becoming non-committal towards Nuge because of Gato booking him to lose all the time in order to appease Dave and Tony Khan, despite him still being the biggest merch mover. Naito's also been Tokyo Sports is a major newspaper in Japan, MVP in 2016, 17, 20, and 23. This is essentially Tokyo Sports saying he did better than Shohei Ohtani in 23 and is astronomically holy fuck, that's crazy. And is astronomically far more important than an observer award to anyone who values fresh air and sunlight. He also appears at baseball games, mainly with his team, Hiroshima Toyopet, without anyone having to pay for it. He's invited, unlike AEW at their sports event appearances. Damn, I love when people drop facts about Nuge, and it's like, Dave, you're not fucking studying or learning any of this shit.
Learn, baby, learn. Meltzer Inferno.
So Dave's getting exposed for fucking lying about Nuge shit this whole time too, and playing this fucking agenda, dude. Oh, you gotta love it. So the second point, there's a strong argument that the last meaningful feud Tanahashi was in was Naito for the IWGP IC title. Ace versus King feud with Nakamura was mainstream news in Japan. Despite Nakamura being the heel in this feud, there was still a lot of Yao sign. Dave also buries Nakamura purely because he's a WWE guy. Yeah, that's what it feels like. So we're skimming through this, brother. Thank you for this whole like report, dude. For the last point, it can be seriously argued that Okada isn't even the top 5 opponents of Tanahashi. Tanahashi had better feuds and matches with Naito, Nakamura, Yuji Nagata, Togi Makabe, Keiji Muto / Great Muta, and a few others. It's a fact. Dave knows this, but runs with the narratives that everything pre-Kenny Omega and pre-Bucks was the Dark Ages for Nuge, which is totally false. The three of them. Here's the thing. The Bucks and Kenny and them going to Nuge wasn't what made me start getting into Nuge again, like in that era as well. It was a buddy of mine had like a New Japan, I think like a New Japan World. I don't know if that came before Kenny and them, but I was getting sent New Japan shit frequently, like links to matches where it's like I'm on a Japanese website and I'm watching fucking a match or whatever. And also, I was in a hotel room and it was late night and I saw a fucking ad for New Japan. I don't know what it was at the time. And I remember distinctly Okada in the commercial and a bunch of these characters where I was like, whoa. And then Kenny and the Bucks came in after and it was like, oh, sweet. Like these guys, I fucking know Cody Rhodes. I know AJ Styles and shit, you know, like that was awesome too. I'm not like discounting any of that, but it was like before then they were picking up steam. I know what you mean. Like it was starting to there was rumblings about some of these characters and how like over these guys were getting, right? Like before Kenny had his series of matches with Okada, people were talking about Tanahashi and Okada and them like, yeah, you could compare them to, and not just them, like Naito and these guys, like, yeah, you know, they're like the Stone Cold and the Rock and the Triple H of fucking Nuge type thing. Anyways, yeah, so it just amazes me how one Spectrum surfing goof in California has been able to completely distort the perception of Japanese wrestling to his own liking. And again, it's just to protect his SoCal boys, you know. Dave also said a bunch of other nonsense denying AEW blocked Nakamura, but I think it's very obvious Nuge is being manipulated or controlled. Now, I don't even want to go that far. It's just they have a partnership. They obviously signed some shit. There's stuff in place, and it's like Tony put his foot down, but Dave just won't admit, like, Tony put his fucking foot down. And speaking of Tone putting his foot down, we're going to get into AEW COPE here, or sweeping, but this whole they're closing the gap narrative. Well, actually here, Brian actually he's retracting, he's backtracking, Brian is now, because like we pieced him up so hard with his faux outrage and even made that video where he's like crying about the haters responding to him and shit. So here's what he has to say about NXT now. He's just loving this.
This is the highlight of the show. Ethan is leaving. He's in his vehicle.
He's just loving NXT.
He goes, you know, Ava, clearly my services aren't needed tonight.
Or unless he's being sarcastic. I actually didn't watch it.
And she says, you know, you haven't defended that North American title since Halloween Havoc. And he goes, well, I'm the best wrestler here. Nobody wants to wrestle me. And she goes, yeah, well, I think there's someone in your car that might disagree. And he goes, and he jumps out of the car. It's Mr. Iguana. And Mr. Iguana steals his car. Okay? He steals his car.
Mr. Iguana rules.
So he steals his car and he zooms off. And Ethan screams, are you not going to call the cops? And Ava, deadpan, says, what am I going to say? A reptile stole your car? And as it fades to black, you just hear Ethan go, yes! And it's over. I loved this.
Dude, now he's loving Ava, dude.
It's just in
I
from
told
Phil
you
Marks
he's
of
gonna like-
PWT.
Bro,
He
he's
says,
just so outraged. Now he's gonna put it over.
I told
'cause
you so.
At least Bry will read. He's trying, Brian. Okay, he's crying, Brian, a lot. He is trying. Like, at least he reads the comments, and he's like, he had a little cope sesh, but maybe he's like, okay, it's not as bad as I make it out to be. But speaking of as bad as people are making it out to be, man, this whole closing the gap situation. Let's listen to Dave compare Blood and Guts to War Games, and then the closing the gap, and then just like sweeping for AEW. But again, Dave, like, I think this is a narrative people are trying to create here disingenuously. Like, I just don't think you can even really compare you can compare the Blood and Guts to the War Games. I mean, it's 2 rings and 2 cages. They happen in the same month. So obviously you can compare them clearly. But like, just what both shows are trying to accomplish, I just think you can't really compare. It's what Punk said. Like, I don't even know what they're trying to do over there.
Both Blood and Guts blew these ones away.
Like, as far as what, Dave? The physical moves. You just want to see shoot fights in cages, okay? UFC. You know, like what was it when the girls botched the table spot? Like, name one spot, the bed of nails, the girls leaving the ring and grabbing 10 title belts and bringing them in the ring, that beat the War Games or that beat out whatever the girls did in their War Game. I'm not saying like War Games was the best show ever. I mean, it was whatever. It's just like, in what aspect did it blow it out of the water? The ratings? No, the fucking, like, what, in what way? Someone got more over than, you know, think about the eyeballs that were on Lash Legend and that shit. That's all I'm saying. Like,
it's funny because I think the women,
which one was more star-studded?
Talent in WWE's match is more talented overall than in the AEW match. But the AEW, like, those women went out there. They went out there and I mean, granted, they had the advantage of being able to do blood, but they just throw out the blood. Even they went out there and they
yeah, like, I don't yeah,
use weapons, you know, and
clapping for blood.
They went out there. There was a mentality in that AEW match where they were out there to go, like, we're gonna, you know, I mean, like, I thought that the men's match was still better, but they went out there with the idea that, like, this is the first women's Blood and Guts match, and we're gonna tear the house down. And these women just kind of went out there, and it's like, we've had many War Games women's matches, you know, over the years in WWF since Paul, you know, took booking control and everything like that, and plus in NXT. And it was just like that mentality
in WWF. What are you, Phil Marks?
That wasn't there at all. It was just kind of like just a match, you know? And I mean, and not even I wouldn't even call it a good match. It was just a match.
I would say that's fair, but like the women's Blood and Guts was fucking really good until like Monet and Marina got in it and shit. That's my opinion. I would say that I don't even know. I really don't. I didn't think much of either of these matches overall. They were just like whatever, kind of just not memorable either of them in my year.
I would say that's one of the more disappointing matches, really, that I've seen this year.
If like you watch that women's Blood and Guts and you don't see like what Monet did and Shafir did in that match, and that doesn't make you like groan a little bit, even if you're the most diehard AEW fan, I don't know, man. You just like dog shit. Like, I'm sorry. I'll just stand on that and say that is my strong opinion. I think you like shitty shit. I don't know. So they're talking about closing the gap, though, right? And we're comparing these two companies, and people are trying to do that. But to me, starting in January and this whole time now from here on out, it's TNA, NXT, AEW. We got the middle of the week wars. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we'll be comparing ratings as of January 26th. But you know, Tony Khan's been out there talking about closing the gap and all this shit. And so let's see here. So someone deleted this post, and then Real Philly P, who's got me blocked, says it was easy to beat Vince back then when there was no monopoly or internet. So coping over WCW, I'm assuming. If the same conditions existed today, AEW would be beating WWE consistently. Bro, that is one of the fucking stupidest things you could ever say.
Stupid idiot.
There's no basis in reality of that to say that, you know? And guess what? They have been beating SmackDown consistently with Max included all year. It's like, you're just lying. You guys just make shit up. Okay? And so even Dave corrects this guy. Even Dave is like, bro, you're a sicko.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
And Dave's like, they aren't beating SmackDown even with Max. Raw Live, if you want to believe Netflix numbers, they are for the full week. Probably no, but what? Raw Live, if you want to believe Netflix numbers. It's so funny how ass backwards Dave is. Like, the Netflix numbers are probably the most accurate. They're more accurate than this Nielsen shit and the invisible fucking numbers that you are inventing that Max does that not even Tony Khan knows. So, like, you're a clown, Dave. This is just such unbelievable, unbridled. But obviously the Netflix live numbers are fake low to juice up the full week numbers explained in the Observer every week. Bro, you don't explain it. You don't even understand it. You don't even understand it. So no, you don't explain it. You explain it incorrectly. Holy shit. And Nicolo Piccolo says Dave has 307K followers and he spent a year telling them Netflix is faking numbers. There's no legal exposure for that. The exposure is that you look like a guy who doesn't understand how streaming works and panics when the data doesn't match your narrative. That's how you tell every real industry person you're not in the room and you're never getting in the room. Like, he just exposes himself. And this is just a guy, Nick, coming in and just saying it to Dave. Like, you're like, real motherfuckers look at that and scoff at it. If you're a dumb person or you control the wrestling narrative, which Dave has for like decades, where you have wrestlers marking out and simping for him and reading his shit every fucking week for decades, he thinks he can still like get away with shit like this. It's crazy. So he just got G-checked right there. And, you know, Dave starts talking about closing the gap. Let's start with this. And then he talks about like WB. And here's some AEW shit. So Tony Khan has closed the gap on WWE in a very meaningful way. This is going to be absolutely hilarious. Strap in, folks. Flutes in the chat. I mean, we might as well play one more for this epic moment.
Did you see the Tony Khan quotes about how he says that they're closer to WWE?
Oh, they've closed the gap this year?
Technically, in ratings, they've closed the gap because...
Oh my God.
SmackDown went to USA, so their number went way down. Okay. Raw went to Netflix, so their number went way down. You know, NXT on CW, their number didn't go way down. And AEW, their numbers went way down because of Max.
Because of Max as well.
Well, but they didn't go down as far as the WWE numbers.
So WWE goes down on Netflix because Netflix is lying about the numbers, and they're even lower than the low numbers that Netflix have been claiming. It's even lower than that, so they can inflate them later. Meanwhile, Netflix has come out multiple times and said, and Dave's like, I break it down in the Observer every week. Meanwhile, they've had many weeks where Netflix reports that their live was up from the week before, but then their over the week was down. Their minutes streamed was down from the week before and shit. Dave's just flip-flopping here. He doesn't even know what he's talking about, man. And he's showing his ass.
If in the both going down category, the gap is closer, yes. When it comes to
NXT. AEW and NXT are closer, yes.
Ratings. When it comes to attendance... Not so much. When it comes to
not so much, not at all.
Shows, who the hell knows?
When it comes to big shows, who the hell knows? Dave, there was 47,000 people or whatever the fuck at their last pay-per-view. There's like 5,000 tickets sold, if that, to AEW's next pay-per-view.
But AEW certainly held up very well on pay-per-view.
No, it didn't hold up
this year. When it comes,
or maybe it did, but no one does pay-per-view anymore. So hold up compared to what? Compared to like when WWE was at its peak, or compared to the pay-per-views WWE does not do anymore. Oh yeah, they held up against like what's on pay-per-view now? Korn and fucking AEW. You know, like what the fuck's on pay-per-view anymore?
Other metrics.
UFC was. Now they're moving away from that shit too, because
no, I mean,
fucking people don't want to. It's just passe. Pay-per-view is like it's not even dead. I think if everybody brought it back, if everyone was like, no, we're going back to pay-per-view, I think it would work, but they would have to get off all these streamers and shit. You'd have to just give me one place to watch the show, and then fucking I'll buy your pay-per-view every other month. Not every month, though, or like every few months. You can't have pay-per-views every fucking month.
I've seen they kind of look the same as last year, and for the most part, live events. AEW. I mean, I will say that when AEW is not in a small building,
when they're not in a small building,
a little bit up. They had like 3,300 this week. They had over 3,000 last week. Those are not great numbers, but they're better than when they were doing 2000s.
Yes, which is like a year ago, and then the year before that they were doing like 4,000s, and people come on my show and clown me. Why is that a good fucking attendance number? When I would be like, oh, good for AEW, they did 4,500. Now their pay-per-views are doing 4,500. How is this even a debate in your brain?
In similar buildings. So there's a little bit of an uptick. WWE is a little down. They were,
SmackDown's a little down. It's WWE's, all their shows are fucking banging.
They were always selling out.
Dave said the peak is over.
And now they're not selling out as often, but they're still like so far ahead. It's not even funny. Like they just drew 45,000 people. They just did 45,000 people on Saturday. So it's not like,
that's light years ahead of AEW. I just don't know why you can't just go, yeah, I mean, they're light years ahead. That's like a 1 second answer to this question.
There's a big difference in popularity.
100%. So then how are they? Oh, they're
they're
closing the gap. Like, yeah, okay. But like, wait, here's the problem with that. No, they're not, because it's just factoring in invisible. I'm not even going to give them that. I was going to be like optimistic. I was going to like fence sit a bit there and be like, okay, Dave, I guess like technically, if we're talking about, like he said, technically, I mean, it's like, okay, technically is last week, did AEW have on the Thanksgiving show, did they have like a 5% increase? But it's 500,000 people. Okay, it's 500,000, not counting streaming. How many? That's nothing. That's invisible. And if we're not counting, or if you want to play that game, it's like they're doing 400,000, 500,000 for Dynamite. Like if 2 years ago they were doing like not even double that, but it was like 700,000. Like they're just falling off year over year. We can't make these comparisons. We can't talk about closing the gap. Figure out your own show, make one fucking star, then talk about closing the gap. Okay? I'm not even going to give Dave the benefit on that one. I just stopped myself. So WBD, how will the sale affect AEW? Let's hear fucking Dusty Dave, who just doesn't know shit. Let's hear what he has to make up about this shit.
What's the update on the WBD sale?
It could be going down within the next couple of weeks, and Netflix and Paramount are the front runners. I believe Netflix has no interest in the cable side. For WBD, I think that there's the hope that it's Paramount, because Paramount is interested in keeping, the cable stations. Netflix does not want to own.
Is that, here's the thing. I will say that, Dave's reading shit that like Variety and all these shits have tweeted out over the last few weeks. So he's not saying anything new here. But I will say, like, I'm just going to put a little Phil Marks spin on this, on Dusty Dave's ass. I think, Dave, you're just coping and you want it to be Paramount because they're interested in the cable shit, and you don't want Netflix to throw AEW away because it's not popular enough on streaming for them to warrant them putting it anywhere. No, if Netflix bought all this shit, it's not like they'd just be like, AEW, you're done. But maybe, though, like, maybe WWE, we don't know, man. If they're going to force Andrew Schultz on our Raw programming, I wouldn't put it past them to be like, yeah, AEW, you're gone. We just don't want you on anything now. WWE, make a new show for Max or whatever.
The cable stations, from what I hear, they just want they want the Warner Brothers movie library and HBO and HBO Max. How this would relate, how any of this relates to AEW is all speculation. There's no way of knowing until the new people in charge are running it. There's
this is the problem with Dave too. It's all speculation. No, Nicolo Piccolo laid out an amazing thread. Dave, of course, fears facts and wouldn't read it. And none of it has to do with AEW. No, but it does, because, for instance, Rush Hour 4 got greenlit by Paramount because Donald Trump They weren't going to greenlight it. And then apparently Donald Trump called and was like, make this movie. And now they're making that movie. And I'm sorry, but if Paramount has the relationships that Niccolo Piccolo laid out, I'm not even making it a political thing, but just the way the media is leaning now and whatnot, it's more balanced. Some say, some people they're going too far, whatever the fuck, whatever your take is on that aside, just who Paramount and these people are in bed with. And I don't want to say in bed like it's a dirty thing, but it's business, yes, that does determine like, okay, we might not want this AEW thing around. We're in business with WWE and TKO and UFC and all this shit. You know what I mean? Like, we don't want this thing around, and it pertains to them because WBD, according to Thirsty Thurston, owns, his estimation is like 5% of AEW. I think is what he said, 5%. So they would own 5% of AEW, would they not? Isn't it acquiring the whole thing, right? So at least that's my understanding of it. If WBD owns 5% of AEW and then Paramount buys WBD, then Paramount then owns 5% of AEW. Mais non? Mais oui? Right?
Some people who go like,
so I think it does have a lot to do with AEW. And this is Dave responding to Niccolo Piccolo without like responding to him because he knows he'll get pwned.
Paramount gets it. They have UFC, so they're going to cancel it for sure. Well, it's like if they're going to keep TBS and TNT,
Dave, oh my God, TBS and TNT are the A side to AEW. Like, what? This is the problem with Dave and all the sickos. They don't understand. AEW's not the A side anywhere, and they're not like sought at. Like they don't. If Paramount bought WBD and then tomorrow they're like, we want a WWE show to go on Wednesdays and shit, they could just make that happen. WWE's more popular. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're just gonna do what makes sense for business. And AEW, if they're going to keep TBS and TNT, you mean these things that like everybody knows, even in like Canada, if you say, yeah, it's on TNT or TBS, everybody knows TBS and shit. AEW is not the A side there. Like, if they're going to keep TBS and TNT, of course they will. AEW is like a fucking yo-yo tournament. It's just like a show that they put on, right? Like, shows get canceled all the time. It's crazy.
I don't know about dropping.
No one's shilling out billions of dollars. Here's the problem. So people are shilling out millions and billions and shit to WWE. No one's shilling that out to AEW other than this company that's in so much fucking debt and is so fucked up and is such a mess, laughing stock of Hollywood, that it's going to get bought and absorbed. And it's everything they fucking own is going to get bought and absorbed. Everything. Bugs Bunny, Batman, all that shit. And AEW comes along with it as just like this is just a thing that comes along with it. It's not like they're like, oh, the fucking AEW, man, that's a huge part of this thing. Whereas UFC and WWE are like these huge things that are sought after, that people are going out of their way to spend. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, he has no perception of this shit.
Popular programming on those stations. Because TKO has a show on the station, that's not going to mean that somebody else can't have a show with another product. ESPN had UFC's deal, and they had the PFL at the same time. Then that's the same business.
Word. And I think they would keep, I don't think they just like, we're getting rid of AEW out the window. But I know people smarter than me who know way more about the TV biz than I, who I've spoken to. And they fucking are like, yeah, that will happen, So I don't fucking know. But I maintain, like, I don't think they'll just chuck it away. They'll just like stick it on. Yeah, sure. You're just like on streaming. We'll put some other show that makes us more money and on Wednesdays or whatever.
Not a different business. So the idea, I mean, it I could be wrong. You never know what's going to happen, but I don't see the fact, if Paramount buys it, I don't see the UFC being on the Paramount streaming service having any influence on the idea of AEW on TBS and TNT. If it's Netflix and they don't keep the station, but they keep HBO Max, if they keep HBO Max as a separate property, just because WWE is on Netflix and HBO Max is a separate property, would they get rid of AEW? Doubtful.
Doubtful, but they don't. Here's the problem, Dave. In Crave in Canada, for instance, they don't have AEW. They just added Collision recently, and only Collision, and you have to have like the sports add-on to access it or whatever the fuck. It's already, they don't care about it like this. These new people are gonna buy the shit, and what do? They review, they just go over everything and what's making us money, what makes sense, what could be better, and they're going to reinvent, they're going to reinvigorate, they're going to innovate, they're going to figure out whatever the fuck. If Netflix keeps TNT and TBS around, whatever. I just wouldn't like be so, oh, it's not going to matter. It's like, dude, they have WWE shit on Crave in like Canada and shit, which is HBO Max up here. You know what I mean? They just added, and they're promoting Crave right now. We added tons of shit to this Crave. I think they're trying to like boost up the value of some of this shit last minute, or maybe that's a dumb take. I don't know. But they just added all this shit to Crave, like just piled on. We added like 18,000 fucking new hours of programming and stuff. Like they're promoting Crave heavy right now in Canada, and Collision only is on there. No Dynamite, no AEW pay-per-views. And they have they have like 4 different WWE shows on there, and Dark Side of the Ring and all this shit that people actually watch. So he just doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. But he talks about Okada's drop kick here, and Dave Meltzer he talks about Okada's drop kick on Pac. And again, this is just like a 10,000-year-old talking point. There is nobody that I've ever seen in my entire life that times their drop kicks for the perfect time to do them better than Okada. What kind of sentence is that? There is nobody that I've ever seen in my entire life that times their drop kicks for the perfect time to do them better than Okada. And he didn't even say better. It's in brackets, meaning he didn't actually say that. They had to add that in while quoting him. Do them, Okada. That's what he said. You know they're coming, but they still come out of nowhere. That is fucking stupid. You're dumb. And I don't know. That's just an old thing to say. Yeah. And so Tryon Bryan had this to say. He talks to Vinny about how Blood and Guts was better than the War Games match. I mean, I don't even know if we need to listen to this. We already heard.
That's what I saw on the old X there. Yeah.
I think we might already watch this on PWT Live with AEW News, but he's just like this cocky little smirk. I hear Blood and Guts is trending.
I hear that Blood and Guts is trending.
That's what I saw on the.
Yeah, because bro, for once in their life, AEW's trending. Good for them. Don't do the whole cocky smirk and this whole, see, yeah, I mean, War Games was just trash. It's just like, shut the fuck up. We played this clip already. You're flip-flopping. You're a fucking clown. And because of that, we will forever clown you. We will forever play flutes, because that, ladies and gentlemen, was Dave Meltzer's Dumb Moment of the Week.
This just in, we have confirmed that Dave Meltzer fears PWT and flutes.